how narcissists and psychopaths think. This is mainly for empaths because this is who they hunt. So they're always going to show you, it's all about showing. They're going to show you, and this is how the Satanists behave. They're not necessarily, they might not, they may not be a Satanist, like one who practices and ritualizes it, but, the more self-aware ones are. But the whole, how the consciousness works is they have to sort of show you who they are in order to get away with it. And the more conscious they are, the more they like to do this. Because it's all a game to them. All of it is a big game. So they'll say a joke at the beginning. They'll say just a word of caution, just a word of warning, and they speak in riddles. So it will be, they'll say that, but and they'll mean it as a joke, something like a beautiful lady like you is someone who I would sweep off their feet and have my way with them, or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So be warned. And that is enticing if you want to communicate like that, and you want a little bit of spice and interest and something different, because it's all intellectual with them, it's all cerebral with them, right? So they see you as a prize that they want to hunt, and they're testing how clued up you are, okay? Because if you're too available, it's like the prize is too easy. That you're going to come across the more difficult ones, kind of the more switched on you are. As I said before, it's all a game, right? So, yeah, this is where the charm comes in, and because they lay that on thick, because the more charming they are, the more you're reeled in. And this is where you've got to really pull your boundaries up. So you've got to be on guard so much, right? Most people aren't, you're not really going to come across them a lot, but if you're an empath, you will. Because some people say to me, well, how can you go around with this attitude now? Well, you do. If you're an empath, you have to. Because you're potentially under attack all the time. This is what the spiritual war is about. This reduction of the polarity between psychopaths and narcissists, who function and think and exist and have a consciousness that is the polar opposite to our consciousness, which is more mammalian, loving, caring, nurturing, supporting together. The polar opposite, the narcissists and the psychopaths, whether they've been hijacked or not, it's a reptilian consciousness. It's predatory. And they will have been hijacked through trauma. That's how it's got in. It's up to them whether, if they want to retrieve who they truly are, their soul, they have to go on a journey that's very dark and painful and purging, that a lot of them just don't want to go on. They're not ready for. They haven't incarnated to do that in this time, so they're not going to do that. Many of them cannot stop how the consciousness functions. They just can't. It's innate to them. It's who they are. You have to understand, the way they are they are viewing and perceiving the world. It's the same world. So they'll say things like, I want a fulfilled life. Life is wonderful. Life is fantastic. And they are seeing the world and doing things in the world and being very productive and highly productive and getting things, but they're viewing it in the polar opposite way to how we view the world. Because everything how they perceive the world is through getting, through manipulating, external manipulation of getting and requiring and owning the life, owning the things that they do. Becoming something, getting towards something, because they predatory, in a predatory nature, they have exerted themselves upon it. They've put their control upon it to get it and manipulate it, right? Whereas we're perceiving from the polar opposite. So these people are often highly successful people, and they say things like, isn't it a joy to be in the world, and this is what the joy of life comes from. But their joy is completely different to our joy. Their joy is self They literally get off on the fact that they've acquired stuff, that they're the best, that they're the greatest. It's a God complex. It's basically a God complex, right? Whereas we're perceiving from the polar opposite, where the joy of life is through the heart, the center of the heart, to share and enjoy and to be at peace. They're the opposite of peace, literally the opposite of peace. So when these people who are the polar opposite to you, but are masking as somebody like you, this is very difficult to see, because these people present themselves as someone it's so crazy, because it's like, if you just look at them without getting to know them, they are so similar to us. They do have this lust for life. It's crazy when you start thinking of it like this. They have a lust for life. They're interesting. They're fascinating. They find us interesting and fascinating. We find them interesting and fascinating. It's like we're going at this. We both have the same, from the outset, it looks like the same view of the world, but it couldn't be any more different. It looks the same, but it's the polar opposite. That's why there's this deep magnetic attraction between them. It's like the empaths are addicted to them, because this has gone on for eons, addicted to being involved with somebody who seems so similar to them, but then has so many problems on emotionally and mentally, that for an empath, that is very highly addictive, because that literally pushes all your buttons and forces you, literally, it's like a deep impulse to try and support and help and heal, right? When they're never going to be able to be helped and healed ever in their whole entire life. And there's a deep magnetic attraction between them to us, because we are the prime sustenance to them. There's no one more that they want to control and own than empaths, that give off this so much empathy and love and compassion so freely. That's what they feed off. That's their life sustenance. That's what they get off. So lots of them are going about it in unconsciousness. They don't even realize that's who they are. The way they perceive the world, they think everybody perceives the world like that. No. It's not until you get deeply, intimately connected to them that you understand this person is a psychopath, this person is a narcissist, and then you have to understand what that actually means. And whether they are consciously telling you who they are or not, you need to listen to what they say, because everything they say is a confession. Whether conscious or unconscious, everything that listen to their jokes, right? Because they often say it in jokes. They're telling you the truth, and you really should listen to what they say with their jokes, because when people joke and comedy and laughter, that's thoughts going through that person's mind. Whatever somebody says is thoughts going through that person's mind. And then whenever somebody verbalizes what they're thinking and saying, then, you can be rest assured that that's what that person is thinking. So, and we all have, it's insane what we all think, but you want to pay a close attention to repetitions. If somebody is showing you from the onset who they are, believe them. Just believe it from the onset, okay? What else do I want to say? So, for the really highly sophisticated ones who are doing this consciously, it's all riddles and games. So they will definitely open by, if they want to capture you literally, they'll tell you what their intentions are and they'll say, I'm warning you, because then at the end, when you figure them out and figure out they're a psychopath or a narcissist, and you say, I can't believe it, I can't believe what you've done, and they'll go back and they'll say, well, I did warn you. I warned you at the very beginning what I'm like. I told you what I'm like. And it's like, no, you didn't. You were saying a joke, because they're never going to tell you. If they tell you from the get-go, I'm a narcissistic psychopath, then you're going to run a mile, aren't you? See how the whole thing is a game. And they love the game. They love to pretend. They love the whole process of getting you and bringing you in and getting them under their control, making you believe the illusion that they want you to believe. And that can go on for however long it takes, months, years, weeks, a day. But if you are switched on to this, you'll quickly realise and understand. And then it will go full circle. And however long that will take, a day, a month, a week, a year, decades, to figure out who they are, it will go full circle, and you will realise that I was involved with somebody who is masking, somebody who is this entire thing was an illusion, and it's a game that they play to control, manipulate, and take over you. Okay, so a lot more to say, but we'll leave it there for